I said, hey, yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Mo Hodles, and today we back for another video, kind of like the one I did yesterday on projects that I'm bullish on. And you're gonna want to stay to the end because I'm gonna give you guys some TA areas to look out for, maybe scooping up a bag, and we're gonna jump right in. So basically, I'm gonna talk to you guys why I am bullish on BAT. And personally, I've been researching in this space for a long time, and I just try to understand assets that I buy. That's my main goal, right? People like to buy shit, but they don't understand what the hell they're buying. Stop buying shit if you don't understand what it is. If you don't understand the tokenomics, if you don't understand what the actual protocol does, and so on and so forth. Sometimes the project can be amazing, but the token itself is shit. So that's what I try to do. I try to weed out the garbage. And today I am bullish on BAT, and I'm gonna tell you why. So we're gonna jump right in. Basically, I wrote this on the 22nd of May, so it is obviously 2 months now past that. And the founder, his name is Brendan Eich, and he's an American programmer and tech executive. He created JavaScript and he created Mozilla Firefox. We're gonna give that a second. Just let that for a second go through and register in your brain, okay? Because this guy is a genius. He created JavaScript language. If you guys don't know what that is, it's one of the most prominent front-end coding languages that is used today. And then he also co-founded Mozilla Firefox, which is another staple of success, because I have been using Mozilla Firefox my whole entire life, basically. And it's an amazing browser, essentially, right? And now my new favorite browser is actually the Brave browser, which we're going to get into. But let's look at some growth for a second, right? Because when they first launched, they were not super successful. They only had 1.2 million users, and then we saw almost a 4x the following year, and then again a 2x, and then obviously, as you guys are aware, it gets more difficult to keep multiplying, because when you start off very small, you can understand that it's probably simpler to get users on board. But then as you keep expanding, they like to say the law of diminishing returns. That doesn't actually apply here, but in some ways, the actual ideology of just how hard it will be to continue 2xing is very difficult. But all in all, this is a very bullish chart. I'm wondering to know what the 2022 chart looks like. Excuse me, took a sip of my coffee there. But this is a very nice chart, because again, what you want to see in any protocol is that there is growth. If there is growth, then that means there's something cooking behind the scenes, and that's why you got to understand what the hell it is exactly that you're buying. So we're going to talk about two things here. There's the Brave browser and the BAT token, right? Because the BAT token is this token here that you can buy. The ticker is BAT, like here. And then you have Brave, the browser itself. So there's two separate things that we're going to distinguish in this, okay? And this user growth is from the the Brave browser. And the BAT is basically a reward, which I'm going to touch base on in a moment. Anyways, so Brave browser is a free open source web browser that is created by Brave Software Inc. Brave is known for its privacy dominance capabilities that block advertisements and trackers that may breach your security. Brave has more than 50 million downloads, and Brave rewards are the best features on this browser, and it pays revenue for the user's attention. So you probably just heard like a moment ago, like a noise that went like doo-doo-doo-doo, right? And that sounded childish, but basically that noise was actually the Brave browser, guys, because I turn on ads, and every single little bit, right, of the time, I get a notification. It comes like right here. See my mouse, guys? I'm like spinning my mouse around. It comes in this corner here, and I click close. But essentially, it's different ads, and you can choose if you want ads. And then on those ads, you can, filter how often you want to see them, and stuff like that, which we're going to touch base in. But I have 3 monitors, so you're not going to see it pop up on this monitor. But pay attention. If it does happen again, I'm going to definitely point it out. Anyways, so moving on. What is Brave? So again, Brave Software Inc. is the creator of Brave browser. Brave browser is a free web browser that's 3 times faster than Chrome's, protects your data, prevents trackers, and pays users in BAT tokens if you would like to opt into that. Most web browsers sell your data to other tech companies that we are unaware of what they do with our data. Brave has an optional reward ecosystem that allows users to earn their fair share without compromising users' privacy. Below is a comparison on how they match up security and privacy. So again, remember, Brave was the Firefox was created by the Brave browser CEO, and what we can see here is that he basically knows the problems within these browsers, so he knows exactly what he's doing, right? Like, this is very nice because, like, he is already very familiar with how to develop browsers. So that means he's gonna have a great understanding of what to do next, what the problems are, how to incorporate a cryptocurrency. And also, what the best part is that, like, today in a digital era where cryptocurrencies and Web3 is a new movement, and privacy is very, like, very, like, prevalent right now, because we need to have our own privacy and we need to use things that don't sell our data, because that's not really a great thing, right? And so, we're looking at Brave as this solution that basically doesn't sell your data, it doesn't do anything weird, it keeps your information private, and it prevents trackers. So just using this browser, it's gonna do wonders for you, because even on the bottom over here, I'm gonna show you guys like something that helped me a lot, right? And it shows like how many pop-ups didn't pop up on my screen, how much bandwidth I saved, and how much time I saved because it's 3 times faster. But we're going to touch base on all of that. But this is a whole graph here talking about different things that are dominant about the Brave browser versus other browsers. And then moving on, Brave is a project based out of Delaware that is headquartered in California. And the founders were the previous co-founders of Mozilla Firefox and also JavaScript. So basically, both of them believe that that a lot of browsers have weird like pop-ups, and they also like lack privacy. So this is why they were like, let's just create our own browser. But there's a kick to this, guys, and this is where I think like it's not just like, okay, you get tokens and that's it. I think this is where Brave browser really takes the lead, is that they're about to shift how digital advertising is done, right? And you're probably thinking to yourself, how is that even possible? Think about it, right? What ads are popping up on your screen that you're clicking close on? What's happening is that based off of your activity on the browser, based on what you're doing, so what websites you're going to, based off of where you're visiting. So if you're going to a lot of cryptocurrency websites, then most likely you're going to get cryptocurrency ads. So that is the reason why this is very interesting, because not only now will advertisers know exactly who they're targeting, but also it makes it a win-win for everybody. So let me just break that down one more time, because this is very, very crucial to understand in the BAT ecosystem, because it's not just about earning BAT tokens. It's about how the digital industry for advertising is going to change forever. And so basically, we start off as a user. Me and you, we download the Brave browser. And after we use the Brave browser, hold on, let me take a sip here. I can't even talk. Excuse me, sorry about that. So me and you, we download the Brave browser, and there's an anonymity shield where basically Brave browser blocks out any like data that's being stored, right? So they do use the data for the ads, but they don't keep the data. That's the biggest thing that you have to understand here, and make sure you distinguish that. So basically, users' private data never leaves their device, and users' attention is monitored based on device and Brave browser. So depending on what websites you're going to, depending on where you're visiting, let's just say that you keep looking up socks, right? You keep looking at like Nike socks and Reebok socks and Adidas socks. What can happen is this advertiser, so let's just say that somebody is a sock brand, they can target you, or just not target you, but tell Brave browser, I want to target people who are looking at socks. So automatically now, this just goes directly to the person that is looking at stocks. And guys, I don't know about you, but to me that is unbelievable, because not only now will advertisers know exactly who they're targeting, but they will also be easier to, achieve a better ROI, better targeting, and reduce fraud, because they know exactly who they're aiming at, right? And I've been in the business of e-commerce as well. I've had a few Amazon businesses, so understanding advertising like this is unbelievable, because you're getting exactly who you want, and you're not wasting your money essentially on ad dollars when you know that you're going to the right person. So it's really interesting, because Brave essentially created a win-win situation for everybody. For the user, because they're earning BAT tokens. For the advertisers, because they're targeting exactly who they want, right? And then, obviously Brave does get a cut from that. It's a very small cut. And again, if you're not comfortable with them, tracking or looking at your data, and again, it's very important to note here that your users' private data never leaves their device. You can opt out. So you can just use the Brave browser if you want to, just for, the actual speed and, the privacy purposes behind the browser itself. So you don't have to go ahead and use the browser because, you want to earn BAT tokens, or you feel afraid that your information is being tracked or something like that. You don't have to do that. But it is important to note that this idea and execution on how we are going to change, or how Brave is going to change the digital advertising industry, is crazy. For all the people who are in the advertising game, this is a game changer. So I hope that made sense. But moving on, talking about some collaboration and also some funding here. So they had an ICO, and basically, guys, the ICO was so successful that in 30 seconds they raised $35 million. Let me read that one more time. They raised $35 million in 30 fucking seconds. Can you believe it? Because I can't. And I had to fact check that 2 or 3 times, and yes, it is true. And then moving on, additionally, they had a funding round. So this is again for their actual company, for equity, I'm assuming. They had these different funds, so Pantera Capital, Digital Currency Group, and a few others. And Brave is connecting everywhere. They're working with essentially everybody in the Web3 space right now, right? Binance, Solana, Gemini, Bitflyer, and there's just so much more. When it comes to who they're working with, so they have their hands tied everywhere. And they also recently just acquired Tailcat. So this is again to continue that privacy dominance in their actual browser. So Tailcat is basically a privacy dominated Google search competitor basically. The difference is that Google search sells your information and Tailcat does not. Tailcat essentially is a browser, or I'm sorry, it's a search that doesn't sell your information. It's purely private. So that's pretty nice to see. So that they're continuing to expand as well, and they have other things in the pipeline. So again, nice to see. Moving on to the tokenomics. BAT has a token supply of 1.5 billion tokens, and it's capped, so they cannot create any more, and a circulating supply of 1.49 billion tokens. And it's an ERC20 token. And then for the distribution of the Brave tokenomics, we see here, excuse me, Brave has 66% of it sold in the ICO. That's the 35 million they raised in 30 seconds. 20% of it was sold it was attributed to the user growth pool. 13% was allocated to the development team pool. And another thing to note is that at the time of writing this, 40% of BAT tokens are held by top 100 addresses. So you can go on Etherscan. I'm sure maybe this has changed from now, but it is important to note that there are some big whales that are holding this. But so yeah, this is just it's good to know that the top 40 or top 100 addresses hold about 40% of supply. That is pretty evenly distributed, but it's still important to note just in case you are worrying about the distribution. And then the consensus mechanism is a special kind of consensus mechanism. It's actually basically it works through a smart contract, and essentially, the smart contract rewards BAT to publishers, users, and advertisers. The smart contract are triggered and allocated to the recipient's wallets. And BAT token is, again, utilized in many different ways. You can use it for purchasing digital goods, tipping publishers, incorporating it in video game micropayments. And as you can see in this photo here, there are many different ways that you can go ahead and utilize the BAT token. So it's interesting. And again, let's talk about how to earn BAT tokens. I kind of briefly discussed it, but I want to talk about it a little bit more in depth here. So this is my personal snapshot of how I've been earning BAT. And on the bottom right here, you can see that I've been earning 5.2 every single month. Now, of course, you can amp this up by opting into more ads, but I personally choose not to because I think right where I'm at, I think it's a sweet spot. I don't want too many ads. But, guys, I saved 3.5 hours on just speed, right? 5.8 gigs of bandwidth saved, and 240,000 ads essentially blocked, and trackers. I don't know what happens when I use Google Chrome or even Mozilla, but I do know now that I only use Brave because I don't want any weird stuff happening. I've had an amazing experience with this browser. No hiccups, very easy, very simple. And guys, I don't really like shilling things, right? You don't have to download the Brave browser, but I personally love it, right? Again, you guys don't have to download it, but I just want to say that this has been a great browser to use in my personal experience, and it easily has become my favorite browser to use. So it's very nice to see. And again, this is fully optional. You do not have to go ahead in here and say, hey, I want to opt in or opt out. But it's, again, optional. So you can choose if you want to earn, but you will get ads. So that's something to note. And for the best part here, looking at where to accumulate some BAT tokens, right? So I marked out this area, 24 cents here. And again, this is written all the way on May 22nd, right? And, we didn't really get to this area. But even looking at it right now, guys, like seeing that we didn't get back down to this low, and I think it's like a big demand zone here too, right? Yeah, it's like a 3-month demand zone, right? Yeah, this is like a 3-month demand zone. I mean, even something like that is probably a little bit more cleaner. Yeah, this is definitely cleaner, but you could definitely look at this in a few different ways. But like, guys, you see this like wick, guys, right above this, like this is a support area. 100% is gonna hold up here. But if we do come back 24 cents, I'm definitely gonna accumulate some more if I can. I already have exposure to BAT token. That is not financial advice, but it's a great project in the sense that tokens are already out, right? You don't have to worry about any inflation or anything weird happening because all the tokens currently exist unless whales just start going crazy with dumping. But I don't see no reason to be worried right now. I feel bullish, if anything, that we're probably going to start running from here. So it's going to be something to watch because right now we are sitting under this. I say this is like a support, a resistance zone right now. So maybe we do come back lower, but I'm going to stay patient. 24 cents is the area that I want to accumulate at. And it can even go down to 17 cents. So this is, again, a great area to look at. And this is a great project. So, guys, this is what I try to do. I try to understand the fundamentals of it. And then I try to understand the technicals of it, right? Because you cannot just buy things and when you don't understand them. Look at what happened to Luna, right? It's unfortunate that happened to Luna. And I hope that no one was hurt from Luna. I'm sure there was people, but, things just happen like that because people don't do research. People don't understand what they're buying. And that's what I try to do. Understand what you're buying. Try to, even just understand it, because the long term things with strong innovation are going to do well no matter what, right? But again, just to wrap this up, I'm very, very confident in what they're doing. They're disrupting the digital advertising industry. They're disrupting how browsers are essentially built. And I love the fact that it's just so fluid, so efficient. And, you know, it's a win-win for everybody. It's a win for the user. It's a win for the advertiser. And, you know, Brave is taking a small cut out of those profits that, you know, ads are or advertisers are putting. So, again, it's a win-win for everybody. And that's a great business model to have. And I think that the overall growth for this browser is going to continue. And I can't wait to see what happens next. And this is, again, none of this is financial advice. I strictly do these videos for entertainment purposes. And if you're not liked and subbed already, please do it. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps me continue making these videos. And I really, really appreciate it, you guys. And as always, hodl, hodl, hodl. Peace.